Hi ho, cat guys, I'm Tangar Igroglaz, and today I'll tell you what do you need to create your own MMORPG, and it's kind of essentials if you have limited resources, if you just started, uh, what do you need to think about in creating online game. So I myself work on open source, free open source MMORPG. It's called Tangaria. So you could just enter this website tangaria.com. So it's roguelike MMORPG, and for 1 year I work on it, and before that 20 years I played Ultima Online, EverQuest, World of Warcraft, and like all MMORPGs I went them with my heart, and it's my favorite genre in online in games. So if you want to create your own MMORPG, the most essential thing which you should understand that if you just want to get money, if you just want to become rich, MMORPG it's the worst genre to come, because it's much complex and it's much harder to create MMORPG game than a single player. So it's first thing, and another thing is just that people who play MMORPG they have very high demanding. So it's very high competition in this genre, and players, they communicate between each other. So if you make shit, everybody would know that you make shit very fast. So you can't sell bad game. So it's bad place to go to earn money. So MMORPG game, you should create it, you should want to do something in this field only if if you love this genre very much, and you have dedication, you have understanding what necessary, which aspects other MMORPGs do not have, and you could give it. You could give some new spirit, new breath. Then you should start working. So the most essential thing in creating MMORPGs, it's programmers and game designers. It's kind of two components, and the most essential is programmers, because you could be a game designer. You could play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and read a lot of books and understand beautiful mechanics, but without programming you cannot create computer game. So there is two ways. You either need to find programmers, to hire them, to just find enthusiasts, or either you should learn how to program if you're a game designer. So it's kind of possible to for programmer, you just can create your own game from scratch, not being game designer even. It could be shitty. I think very often it happens like this, because programmers, they're very overconfident people, and it's in certain way they are right, because they are very smart, and they think that okay, we are good in everything. But actually everybody should mind their own business, of course. So game designer, it's some guy who know mechanics and has feeling for this game and understand how it should look. It's like director, like Tarantino in cinema. And programmers, it's like operators who make this film, who like realize all this thinking, this vision. So programmers or coders, whatever, and game designers, it's two essential things. And third, it's artists. Artists, it's not only guys who create visuals. yeah. So visuals. It's also sound designers. It's all artists. Sound. Also, it's like level design. It's more to game design closer, so it's something in between level design. And the important thing that okay, for programmers, there are also lots of types of programmers. Like if you, it's of course just mechanics, like mechanics in MMORPG, like engine stuff. Then networking, because we're speaking about MMORPG, like IE, and lot like scripting. And there are lots of different types of programmers. But as we speak about the essentials, you have limited resources. And there are a lot of games which are developed by one person. And this one person, he do all the stuff. He is a programmer, he is game designer, he is artist. And it's good for a hobby project, but every person has its own powerful and weak spots, and you can't do anything. And the most important thing to understand that you need a team for more RPG. Single player game, it's much easier to work on it alone, and it's possible to have like very small team, 2-3 person. But for more RPG, you need more resources. At least three people. It's kind of essential: programmer, game designer, artist. It's important thing. So about artists, yeah, it's visual, sound, also storyline, like lore in the game, storyline, and all these dialogues, quests. It's all artists. They create this stuff, like they drawing graphics, creating sound. Game designer, he creates concept. He understands mechanics. He have the vision of the game in future. It's not ready yet, but he has the vision. He understands how this game should look like, and he calculating, counting formulas, mechanics. He understands which environment should be there, like races, classes, all this stuff. And programmers, it's technical stuff, how to make this stuff work. And it's programming, it's very complex thing because it has huge amount of different types of programming. For example, networking type or databases. It's in big project there are like thousands of different programmers working. So one person, it will be very hard to do all this stuff. But right now we have game engines like Unity, like a lot of game engines, and the most there are some simple ones which you could work even if you are not a programmer. You could do some stuff like RPG Maker. Still, to make something new, something interesting, some serious project, you would need to have more people. So minimum, it's kind of like main programmer who will do all the stuff of game engine. Also, by the way, user interface, it's very important. Also, input-output controlling. It's all different jobs. But okay, you need 2 person at least. It's networking stuff, network, and like main programmer who will do all about game mechanics and game engine stuff. So it's like two programmers minimum for MMORPG you need. So then game designer. Actually, even artists, it's kind of optional thing because okay, we need essentials: 2 programmers, and we need I'll say one guy who will do everything else. So visual, sound, game design, storyline, it could do another guy actually. So for example, in Tangaria, as it's very niche and small community game, yet we kind of have this structure in certain way. So it's Tangaria based at Angband roguelike game, which is like has 30 years history and even more, because it started from roguelike genre. It's very deep and interesting topic. You could check history at tangaria.com history section, where told about story of Angband and how it developed. But so in Tangaria, it's worked on Power Worm Angband. It's like could be called like game engine, because it has all kind of roguelike building, customization in game data, which you could create a new game without programming actually. But yeah, it will be, you always will be lack of features, so you need programming. And in our project we have, I'll say, Power Worm, who is main programmer, and he do all the network stuff also. But right now another guy from Angband project, it's multiplayer Angband, where all roguelike stuff started. He started also to help us, and so we have this I think like essential node, main programmer and networking, and I do all the rest. I do visuals. Right now I'm starting with sound, storyline, level design. Roguelike it's random based, but still like you could create new terrain features, which each terrain feature has its own different properties. So this minimum which you need, it's a programmer and game designer who will also be an artist. It's kind of the minimum thing, because one person do all the stuff. You could do it, but you will do it poorly. It's like the most important rule in development, which I understand right now, because when we started everything, I started to learn programming, and I thought, okay, if I'll program a lot and I'll get into this technical stuff, I'll be able to complete tasks faster, and the game will develop faster and better. But then I understood that all this stuff, it's right now it's crappy, and it's more efficient when everyone minded his own business, his own zone of responsibility. So right now I stopped going into technical stuff, and I concentrated at game engine, at configuration, at level design, all this other stuff. Most of them are artist stuff, and also game design, like overall game design, for my variant, of course. Because yeah, there are hundreds of different Angband variants, and 4 of them are multiplayer, so like 4 MMO roguelike games around already come and play. So this is kind of essential thing which you need. You need to either you could programmer, he could learn game design, and he could like try to create well-balanced game, but if there will be a separate person who will work on it in small team, it will be much better. And now I want to tell, and next, when you already have some people, what next you need? You need server infrastructure, and server hosting, it costs, depends on which engine you create your game. Server could cost like $200 per year. It's very cheap one for like small scale project, up to like hundreds and thousands dollars per year for bigger. So you need to, even if you create your hobby MMORPG, if you like create non-commercial project, you need to understand that hosting, actually, even if you do not pay salaries, hosting will cost you, your game will be successful, like hundreds and thousands of dollars. It's the problem of MMORPG game. So you need to have client system or client server concept, so players won't be able to cheat because if players will have the game on their own PC, they will be able to change everything as they want and create, like, to make cheats and break your game entirely. So only client-server concept. So to provide this concept, you need a powerful web server. Also, you need, of course, you need website. So it's another, this guy. Okay, in big project, when you will have some maybe success, or your team will go race, you will need project manager or project lead or director, producer. He has a lot of names. This guy, it's a guy who, like, working on organization of this process. He is like doing HR stuff, budget stuff, scheduling. He like all these marketing budgets if you have commercial game. So this guy, he do a lot of important work. Then you might find useful to have testers. Of course, in a modern approach, it's very common. Then just players, users, they test game and they report, and you have internal open beta version where users test and provide you feedback. It's good, but still, testers, they are very important to have. And actually, yeah, that's it. You could, of course, find a publisher at certain moment, so they will handle all stuff about selling. But right now, indie developers, they often do not have publishers, and they create their own distribution of the game. If you creating commercial game, because I work at non-commercial MMORPG. So it's the thing. And about commercial, by the way, yeah. Actually, I would love to work on commercial game, to have. So when you work on open source game, which you do not sell anything, the problem is that you have to work in some different places to get money for living and, yeah, to eat something. And you have this project like a hobby, so you can't spend too much time on it. And this is bad thing. So there is nothing bad in commercial stuff. It's good, but as roguelike, online roguelike, MMORPG roguelike games, they are very niche and there are not much players around. You should understand that it's very actually not easy. We could tell about all this organization, game design, a lot of things, but you know that one programmer, how much programmer costs? It costs you like 50K till 100, like even 150. Okay, like $7,000 per year. So each month you need to spend $5,000 for one programmer. So if you have like even 5 people in your team, it's already $25,000. Where you will get this money? You should think. So if you work like on very unusual project, a niche project, you just forget about it. You won't have commercial, you won't get there anytime. So just forget about it and work at this project as at your free time, make it open source and have fun. Because niche games, they are very hard to get into like commercial and to go full time on working at them. So I just want to open eyes, because a lot of people, they dream about, oh, I'll create more RPG, I'll hire a huge team and we will go and everything will be fine. Actually, it's possible to do only if you make like pop culture in gaming, I'll say. If you make games which everybody will like, which is why MMORPG genre right now in crisis, why we do not have much new ideas in MMORPG, because people, they just frightened to take some new ideas into the genre, because these ideas, they could not be successful, and then who will give them this money for creating games with some unusual stuff? So that's why we have lots of games, lots of MMORPGs, which everyone is cloning each other. And yeah, genre is kind of degrading, not degrading, but okay, it's staying at one spot and not developing as it should be. Because MMORPG, it's much more complex thing and much harder to create it. It's much more costly to do. So that's it for now. It's like a first lesson, like uh, first topic which I want to cover at my channel, and later on I'll make more videos about game design, about all this stuff. So yeah, this channel, it will be about game design. Finally, yeah, I've decided game design and game development, and I'll tell you my experience. And yeah, hope to see your comments. Please write them, ask me questions, suggest topics for new videos, and of course subscribe and push the bell, so you won't miss another videos. The bell and the subscribe button, yeah, you need to push it. So thanks guys, hope to see your comments. Bye bye.